County Assembly approved the finance bill. Speaking during the Mua ward by-election, Muthama termed the new rates as oppressive to the poor in the county. Muthama lamented that the decisions were made without involving residents. This comes just a few days after demonstrations were held at the heart of Machakos town by local traders.
Na nimetangazia wananchi wa Machakos, please for God's sake, don't ever try to attempt to pay the new rate. Msilipe, na tunakutana kesho na chairman na wawakilishi wa soko zote, tushindilie msumari na tunaenda kotini, tusimamishe sote, hakuna mtu mmoja atalipa mpaka tukae chini tukubaliane.
Now, matatu owners in Nyeri County have called on the government to establish an international driving school to help retrain public service vehicle drivers in a bid to curb the rising number of road accidents. Officials from 33 matatu SACCOs and senior police converged in Nyeri, where they agreed that the lack of proper driving skills was a major cause of accidents involving public service vehicles.
In their call to curb the increasing number of road accidents, matatu owners in Nyeri County now want drivers of public vehicles retrained at a central driving institution that will be managed by the government.
The minister or the county executive in charge of transport now involve stakeholders to join hands with the police. Now those committees should be charged with the responsibility of seeing that there is improved road safety in the counties.
Matatu operators chairman Patrick Mugwara urged matatu SACCOs partner with the government in order to reduce accidents.
As we are aware, the traffic department cannot be everywhere on our roads. The number is scarce, and we cannot afford to have the traffic police after every 10 meters.
Most matatus have installed car track devices to monitor and check overspeeding. The operators have called on the government to ensure Toyota Probox don't operate as public service vehicles, saying they have contributed significantly to the accidents experienced in recent times. Fiona Kenga, Citizen at 1.
She was active in the struggle for independence, and at one time she led a delegation of women to visit Jomo Kenyatta in detention. As one of the pioneers of women's movement in Kenya, she has passionately advocated for women's rights in Kenya and beyond. Today, in our Kenya at 50 feature series, we focus on 81-year-old Dr. Phoebe Muga Asio, the first African chairperson of Maendeleo ya Wanawake, and who from 1979 was a member of parliament for Karachuono constituency for 15 years. Currently, Dr. Asio is the chairperson of Caucus for Women Leadership.
When the emergency was declared and arrest of our people by the British started, I got involved, especially in collecting children whose parents had been whisked away to detention camps. It was rough, it was cruel, it was unbelievable. This is where perhaps we have not even appreciated the place of women at that time. Women who carried guns inside their gowns, women who took food to the freedom fighters in the forest. And I cannot recall anybody at that time who was so frightened as to think that our people should have done otherwise. The main issue was getting independence, getting into government, and developing this country. And that happened. I remember when we went to meet with Jomo Kenyatta in detention in Lodwar, we discussed those issues with him. We wanted to know, that he would have us in his government, that he would participate alongside the men in decision-making and policy-making of our nation. And indeed, he assured us. Kenyatta told us we didn't have to worry because he was the son of a woman also, and was really concerned about the plight of women and their place in our society at that time. The British had really demonized Kenyatta. The things that were written in the papers, on the radio and so on, you would have thought that here is a guy who was, like they wrote, a leader of darkness and the rest. But when we saw that man sitting next to him and hear him talk, he was a great person, so full of wisdom and right thinking for Africa. I didn't even emphasize Kenya as much as he did for Africa. And he was very soft-spoken, a good man. When independence was declared, many people cried. I remember being there at the ushering in of independence when the British flag was brought down and the Kenyan up. It was so hard for Kenya that we did not expect it to come so easy. And on that day, it looked like it had been very easy, yet it had been very hard. So many lives had been lost. So truly, women have done very well for this country. The only problem is their hands are not long enough for them to pat their own backs. And men are not patting the backs of women. They're very chauvinistic. And up till now, they have not been very good friends of women. At home, of course, they are. But when it comes to policy making situations, they have not been easy on the Kenyan woman. But Kenya is an example for this region. Everybody refers to Kenya because of the voice of women and the concerns that women have, expressed for this nation. I'd like to congratulate all Kenyans and salute them, the young men and women in this country who have the drive to drive this country to economic power in future. The elders, the wise, who are advising our leaders and the leadership of this country. We need to congratulate them and to encourage them. And I believe that what we do now will determine what Kenya will be the next 50 years from now, because this is the time, it's Jubilee time, and we should make it in the next 50 years to be like any other nation that is developed in the world.
Dr. Phoebe Asio, truly inspirational there. Well, we're going to take a short break now, but we'll be back with sports news, so keep it, citizens.